Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life with myself, Clive, in Wales. So I'm going to just take my hat off because it is quite warm in here. I've got the fan on, I hope that doesn't interfere with the sound. I've got a 10x8 canvas which has been reclaimed from a previous lesson. That's why I put the gesso ground on there, and as you can see before you, the range of colours that I'm going to be using today. So to start this process off, I'm just going to pick up again another short flat. Yes, I quite like these range of brushes, especially for small canvases. There's no point painting on with a big brush on a small canvas. Pick the brush that suits the canvas. There you go. That's another question I get asked a lot of, actually. What brush, what size, how do you know what size brush to use? Whatever size fits your needs, basically. And that's just being logical about it, really, if you think about it. So I want a nice bright spot, so I'm going to pick up some yellow, a small amount of cerulean blue, just to get that green. That's a little bit too much, look. That's how quick you can make something darker than you think. There we are. So just on the side of that now, we're just bringing a bit more yellow. We've got a nice bright colour green, and I think I'm just going to start to bring a bit of green there, like that. Okay, we'll add a little bit of yellow to that later on. A little bit of blue now. A little bit of blue just to the side of that. Let's get a nice bluey colour. Let's look at that. That's like a nice dark, it's a blue-green, isn't it? It is. I haven't put any white on my palette. No. White. A bit of white. There we are. As if by magic the white appears. Okay, let's get a little bit of white to that. You can see that's more green than blue, so we want more blue than green. Okay, a bit more blue to that, a bit more white. Is that the colour we want? I think that's not far away. Let's put a bit of that in. It's got that greeny blue look about it. Merge that in with that. There we are. Let's get a bit of that in there. Want that to pull through. There we go. It's got that greeny blue type of colour. Again, as I said, let's get a little bit more yellow in the centre of this now. Just build that in. Just build that in because I want a nice bright spot there. So just bleed that in. Just very lightly blend that as it's, because it's still wet, so you can do that. Get that colour there, like that. Let's get a bit more blue to this side now. I'm going to add a touch of black to that. It's not a colour you want, a little bit of Prussian blue, I think. I don't want it too dark, but I want to find that grey colour that I'm looking for. So it's like a blue grey it is. There you go. Let's just try that. Merge that in like that. What I'm trying to do here is paint a forestry scene. I've got a little forestry down where I live, and I take my dog down there for walks. Well, thank you very much for joining me in the forestry. As you can see, I'm actually taking my little dog Molly for a walk. Yeah, it's a lovely wood. What we call a wood. That's actually that's a forestry, really, isn't it? I think just because I'm Welsh, we call it a wood. What is a forestry? Well, there's a bit of a forestry where I'm looking now, which is on top of the mountain, and that's called. It's my dog Molly. Come on, don't go in there. She's just about to jump in a big pile of water. There we are, let me show you. Well, there's the hillside. Well, it's a bit of a mountain. I don't know if you could see the forestry there, and there's a train going to go past. This is the main line to Swansea and London. There it goes. What a lovely trip that is. And we've got to continue walking down here. I thought, well, let's try and replicate that. I don't mind a little bit of canvas showing through. So we've got this multitude of like greeny colours there. I want to bring in a bit more white to that colour again now, and I want to bring in some of that lighter colour coming in like this. It'll all make sense. It will all make sense. All I'm doing is just putting my first coat on, which is an underpainting basically. But this will all make sense. Adding a bit of white to my brush now, I'm bringing that in like this, blending all that together, playing with the colours and letting the colours just merge about there like that. Bit more of this colour there. Add a touch of white to that. I want it a bit brighter down there. There you go. Not a lot of paint on my brush. Not a lot of paint on the canvas. I like painting with thin colours of paint. Bit of darker blue there now. There you are. I've said on another lesson that you can, a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of burnt umber, bit of yellow. I've said on another lesson that you can sell these little paintings if you want to. I like doing paintings like this because it gives me an idea of how I could turn this possibly into another painting. So I want to get a bit of burnt umber down in this side, like that, and just pull up some marks like this. There you go. Just bring that down. A little bit of black. A little bit of black down in there like that. Again, pull up a bit. Bring up a little bit like that. Bring that black in there like that. Bring this burnt umber back down. Bit of yellow. Just bring a bit of yellow in there. It's a lovely colour, isn't it? Again, just thinking of background and thinking of shapes. Just laying this paint in. Like that. What a wonderful colour that is. I quite like that. Let's get a little bit of this burnt umber and black. I just want to lightly put in some shading in there now. I haven't washed my brush yet. I'm a dirty painter. This is what they call a dirty painter. It is. Now you can see the paint is a bit wet there. It's moving about a touch, so I can't do what I want to do with that now. So I'm gonna have to let that bit dry. So I'm just gonna get a bit of dark coming down here now. A little bit of that burnt umber and black. I'm gonna bring that bit of that shadowing colour come in this way like this, and we can play with this now in a minute as things progress. There we go. That's going to go back up there into the light. And there's another bit of dark colour there. Let's get a bit of this burnt umber, bit of yellow. Again, I still haven't washed my brush, look. Bit more yellow. All I do is take the excess off my brush and just bleed that in, and that's going to mix with the Mars Black is a blue biased. So that's going to mix. The yellow is going to mix with that, and it's going to give me a green effect. So I can mix on the canvas as I paint, and that's good. Now I've already developed a little bit of a bank look. Can you see that? So we can emphasize that now. This is what I've said about looking for shapes and things. We can put rocks and things in there at a later stage, can't we? So we've already developed this bank in there now by just playing around with a bit of colour and mixing on the canvas. There you go. Let's get a little bit of this light green now coming in there like that. A bit of this dark colour back down there like that. That's nice, yes. I'm just going to pick up another short flat because I don't want to keep changing brushes. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow now. Again, with a bit of this, and I'm just going to check that. This is touch dry, so I don't want to press too hard because we could lift. I want to bring in a bright spot now. There, like that. Just a bright spot there. And then add a bit of white to that. Add a bit of white to that then, and make it look easy. Very, very light. Very, very light patterns. Now I've got too much paint on my brush. I'm taking the paint off my brush. I'm going to wet it into some water. Take the excess off. No paint, just water or medium mix. And then I'm just going to blend that very lightly in like this. I'm just going to drag out like as if there may be some light rays or something going on there. There we are. A bit more yellow. A bit of thicker yellow here and there now just to brighten that spot up. There we are. Touch of white. And I think what I'm going to have to do now is I'll leave it at that, I think. But I'm going to just put a little bit of this colour back there like that. A little bit darker like that. I need to dry that off with the hairdryer. Now using a script lining brush, let's get a little bit of this burnt umber, a little bit of black, nice and thin. And all we want to do is put in some trunks, maybe a little bit of yellow as well. Let's get some lighter ones in there. Like that. Straight up like that. Getting some dark on there. Just a couple of different colours. Just keep doing that until you get the effect you're looking for.
It's time to learn with our friend Clive. So grab your brush, have a great time. And don't forget to click subscribe.
Okay, so when we get the effect that we are looking for, let's just put a few more just down there like that. There we are. Okay, what we can do now is let's go back into our little filbert brush, and we'll get some yellow, and now I'll mix some Mars black with it. And then we'll put in a little bit of grass. It's quite in shadow, you mind. I don't want it too light. I want it light enough you can see it, but dark enough that it doesn't stand out at you like that. And if we wanted to stand out at this, all we're going to do is just dip our brush into a little bit of yellow like that, and then just pick up a bit of light, just dancing on a few of these bits of grass like that. There you go. Go into this nice darkest colour now, where we say we're going to put a bank in here. But before I do that any further, I'm just going to get one of my little filbert brushes. This is my foliage brushes that you can buy if you want to pop along to the website. You can buy these. www.clive5art.co.uk. Yeah, put a few little drizzly marks like that, just to make it look as if there's more than just trees. Just a couple of little bushes like that. Again, a little touch of yellow just on the tip of that, and then we can just put a little bit of light just catching like that. You can see it looks lovely. It does. Okay, so let's get this burnt umber, some black, and let's get this tree in, and this. Another one then. There. Like that. We could have another one coming in there. Looks good. Okay. Back to the script lining brush. Let's put there's a little tree just sticking its head out. There, like that, and that can go behind that tree like that, and a few of those branches coming off it like that. And then they can have another one that's going behind that tree, so this tree's in front of that one. That's a little baby tree, and we can have another one then, another branch coming off this one. And that's going that way. Oops, my brush turned into a fork then. There we go. Now that's coming down that way. So that's coming towards us now. It's all falling into there like that. And we can have another one just coming off this one. Give the brush a little twist like that. Looks nice. And just have a little thing coming out of there. And good, good. Just enjoy yourself with these branches. Takes a bit of practice. But we can get some lovely effects then, like that. And I might have a few things sticking out there like that, and I know a few things there. Always little bits of weed and bits of twigs and bushes and all that type of stuff, just all over this place in here. It is, it really is. There we go. I'm going to let that dry a little bit now. I'm going to bring this little filbert brush back in. I'm going back into this burnt umber black colour. I want to bring in a bit of burnt umber here. Swinging that around. Getting a bit of yellow. You get like a raw sienna type of colour then. Just make this little like path then coming through. Get a little bit of yellow, because if it's just a bit of light catching. Just breaking through those leaves on those trees. Well, they will be in a minute. There you go. Just light up there. Get a bit of dark then. Get a bit of this shadow colour coming in then. Just on this one side then, like this. It's all mud and grass and bits of grass here and there. Let's get some grass. Let's mix some little bit of black with some yellow. I'll have to put some more yellow in my palette. Put a bit of grass type of colour here and there like that. bit of grass effect here. As I said, subtle enough to be seen, but I hope the camera can pick that up actually, because it is quite, I lighten it a little bit more than I should do. I want to put some grass in because I want the camera to see this, but I would normally paint it a little bit darker than that because it's quite subtle then. There we go. We could put a bush just on the edge, and he could be picking up a bit of light like that. Let's put him on the edge just to frame that off a bit. There we go. We could get our script lining brush and just put a little twiglet coming out of there like that. There you go. Let's get some light greens made now and just tap that in like this. You can either use that brush like I'm using it, which is just a short flat with a little bit of medium green on. You can do this, just tap it in like that, or you can use one of my other brushes. I'm just going to go straight into some pure yellow in a minute and just tap that in there because there's a bright spot behind. A tree. I want to make it look as if it's picking up. Don't worry about painting over your tree trunk because you can always paint that back in a minute. All we're doing is tap in a little bit of yellow. I'm going to get a little bit of white just to offset that a touch. And go back into our other green now. Again, and a little bit darker. Let's just move that over there. I don't want this a bright green. I want this like a more of an olivey type of colour. There we go. There we are. Just put in some leaves like that. It's a bit weird at the moment, but it'll get there. Confidence. Confidence is a great thing, actually. Okay, I'm going to put that brush down a minute. I'm just going to pick up a little. This is an angled short flat. I don't know why I picked it up, but I thought, well, let's try another brush. I'm gonna mix a different type of green now. I'm going to make a lighter green. This is it's a lovely cerulean blue and yellow. It makes a lovely green. And all I want to do now is just put in maybe a bit lighter than that. Dots. Not bright enough, so I'm adding a bit of white to it. That's better. Now we're picking up a bit of light on these leaves. Mix a bit of Prussian blue and yellow together. Give me a nice dark green. Quite like that. Prussian blue and yellow. Quite a dark green. Look, lovely dark green that is. I can honestly say I've actually made a green with Prussian blue before, but it's quite a nice dark green that is. And it's got a blue tinge to it as well, which is good. Okay. Just tap that on there like that. And I was doing a Gainsborough painting the other week, and I noticed that Thomas Gainsborough actually used cauliflowers as trees, and he used that and made himself a little thing sticking in bits of wood and stuff, and you know, he painted his trees from imagination. So, and that's all he did was dip marks like this, and this is what I'm trying out. I'm thinking, well, if it's good enough for the masters, then it's good enough for us. Don't need all these fantastic ideas, do we? And all this fantastic equipment to get what we want on canvas. So again, I'm picking up a bit of black, bit of burnt umber and black on my brush. I only got to pick up a small little filbert, and now I want to paint out sections of this tree, because I want this tree to stand in front like that. And again, a bit of a light just on that edge there. There you go. I'm going to paint that out a little bit there. I quite like that tree. Where it is, so I'm going to keep those branches. Might emphasize a few more branches coming out of that tree, I think. A little bit of light just on that tree. And just drag a bit of light through there like that. We could go on forever and ever and ever with this. We could put a few rocks in like that. Put a bit of highlight on the top of them. Just use a little bit of yellow, why not? Put a bit of highlight on the top of those rocks. Just get a little damp brush. Put in a bit of shadowing in. You know, as a quick, simple, easy little painting. Give it a try. You might like it or you might not, but it's a good way to get started, and that's all these little lessons are is a way to get you started. So practice with it, play with it, use different techniques, different brush strokes, and before you know it, you'll have an amazing bit of painting. So please press the subscribe button, check out the iCards and read the descriptions, and I'll see you next time. Bye.